After a disappointing season, the Cowboys now have the 12th pick in the draft, and Mel Kiper and Field Yates' latest mock, they have Dallas selecting Matthew Golden, a wide receiver from Texas, but Jerry Jones might be interested in Ashton Jeanty. Jerry recently met with the running back, and here's what went down.
When I came in the room, he was holding this like championship belt and just looking at it. And I was like, where's this gonna go?
What kind of belt was it? From what?
It was from I guess a boxing championship that they had at the stadium some years ago.
Okay, weird.
Yeah.
Why is he holding that?
I don't know. Maybe he thinks I could be a champ or something.
So hold up. So let me get this straight.
You know where this is going.
An elite college football player, Heisman Trophy candidate from the running back's position, runs into the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Mr. Jerry Jones, my buddy. And the football owner is with the football player who happens to be a running back, and you had Rico Dowdle that you couldn't keep. He leaves for a 1-year, $6 million offer. You got Javonte Williams from Denver that you got him in Dallas for half the price. And your pitch, your encouragement is to show this man a championship belt. Is that what he said? He said boxing.
What he said.
Did he say boxing? He said boxing. That's what he said. He said that's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said.
No.
That's what he said.
Boxing.
Maybe be a
belt.
Lombardi. I mean,
So I guess on the football field, on the field, he could go right, left hook or right cross. That's what he's going to do now. That's what's going to win you football games.
Yeah, well, to me, it sounds like a little bit of a metaphor, and I don't think Ashton Jeanty. No, hold on. I don't think Ashton Jeanty is going to be there for Dallas anyways. He's top 10. He's going to the Vegas Raiders, in my opinion. But yeah, this is an interesting tactic to have a guy come in, into your office and you got a belt around your shoulder. So.
And you would think you would want to talk about championships since you haven't seen one since 1995.
There it is. I was waiting for that this whole time.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Championship of the headlines. Come on. You got to admit they got that belt.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
They're very
talking
popular.
about them.
They sell popularity.
Yeah.
They do.
No doubt.
They do.
Absolutely. He said, draft the guy they can't tackle. Mina, what do you think about Jeanty? Where do you think he should go?
Best running back in this draft, one of the best running backs I've seen since Saquon Barkley. Unbelievable football player. I want to correct myself, too. I said there were 2 transcendent players. Ashton Jeanty is also a transcendent player.
That would be 3.
He just plays a less valued position.
Right.
And along those lines, EJ, you mentioned the Raiders. I do think that's quite likely. I think it's a challenging decision for them, though, given questions they have, offensive line, receiver. Chicago is a destination I really like. They put a lot of money into improving their offensive line, the interior, this offseason. I think Ashton Jeanty is the kind of back where if you add him to a decent offensive line, your run game just takes off. And I think he is that special of a player to merit a top 10 pick, and they are the type of team that is well situated for him.
Before I go to EJ, both y'all, would he be a top 10 pick if it were not for the greatness that Saquon Barkley put on display this past season? I'm just asking. I'm just only talking about how the running back position has been devalued. I sense that there is a shift taking place with this, an elevated appreciation for.
And he mentioned Saquon he put out a statement that was like, hey, look what Saquon did for y'all. EJ, my thoughts on this are what Saquon showed is kind of like what I said. If you have a good offensive line, paradoxically, a running back's actually more valuable because you can have the best run game on earth. If you got a bad offensive line, though,
it could be worse.
Like we saw Saquon with the Giants.
Because you ain't going to use them because you can't run.
That's how I look at Jeanty.
I look at the numbers for the Raiders last year running the ball. So Madison had 420 yards and 4 touchdowns. And then Abdullah had 311 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, meaning if they don't take Ashton Jeanty and he's available at that pick, I think that's ridiculous. And actually, when I think about Pete Carroll and the teams that I played against in Seattle and when he was coaching there, you think about beast mode. And if this kid reminds Pete of anything of what beast mode could or was when he was playing, I think this is a surefire take. And I agree with you. I think he's a transcendent player. I'll go back to what Stephen A. asked, though. I do feel like the running backs, not even just Saquon, you look at Derrick Henry, you look at Josh Jacobs, the success that these guys had at a high clip throughout the season, I do think brings more value to the running back list. Because you could look at the 15th running back in this draft, and truly, you still get some value out of that guy. But the top 2, top 3 guys, I think Amari Hampton also is a first first-round pick. I can see him aligning with Dallas. So, yeah, I do think the backs in the NFL currently having a great year helps these younger dudes.
I agree with you. That's why I asked the question. I just think it's a waste of time if you either the two situations. A, if you don't have a good offensive line, or B, you're not committed to prioritizing having a good offensive line. Then don't even think about a running back because all that's going to it's a waste
Well,
of
let
time.
me ask you this, though. Who's to say the line could get better into next year's draft? Maybe this year it's in progress. Again, this is the first year where Pete Carroll's back and you just re-signed Geno Smith to an extension. I think it was an extra 2-year deal or something like that. So he's going to be there for a while. He's going to be their guy. So to me, this makes sense because we don't know if the running backs are going to be as strong in next year's class. I prefer taking Jeanty right now. You have him for the next 8 to 10 years as long as he can stay healthy, and you can build the offensive line in the future.
Fair enough.
He ain't going to stay healthy. He ain't got no line. He ain't going to stay healthy. He ain't got no line.
We'll see.
DJ, you mentioned beast mode. You know, after this quick break, I have some film of one Mina Kimes going beast mode.
No.
Stephen A? Yep. Get ready for it.
7 days till the draft. So let's take a look at some notable 7th overall picks in recent years. J.C. Latham was 7th last year. Penei Sewell, obviously one of the great players in the NFL, went 7. How about Josh Allen was the 7th overall pick in Buffalo in 2018. And so teams are dreaming of getting players like those at number 7. Let's do some draft day dreams with Mike Tannenbaum, our general manager. 7 days away, let's do the 7th pick, which is the New York Jets. Mike T, what is their dream pick at number 7?
Armand Membu, offensive tackle, Missouri. As you can see here, Greedy, he plays on the right side. They got a great left tackle last year in Olu Fashanu, Aaron Glenn, Daramuji. They've added tough, smart players so far. He fits in perfectly. And boy, would it be great, Greeny, as a Jet fan, to know that you have bookend tackles for the next decade.
He had an enormous performance at the Combine that I think really boosted his stock substantially. So that's their dream at number 7. How about the Chicago Bears? What would be their dream pick at 10?
Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan. It's more of a pipe dream. I can't imagine Mason Graham be there at 10, but since it's a dream, I think you see the former wrestler in his play all the time. And if you're the Bears, they did a great job of addressing their offensive line. They need interior pass rush. This would be ideal, although very doubtful.
Yeah, most of the mocks I've seen have Jacksonville taking him at number 5. And then finally, Mike T, the Rams are down there at 26. What would be their dream pick?
Jackson Dart, quarterback, Ole Miss. We just heard EJ talk about how good he is. Matt Stafford, the last couple of years, has been year to year with the Rams, a very smart, proactive organization. Knowing Stafford's much closer to the end, Greeny, go get your quarterback of the future. Let him sit for a year.
A really interesting spot because I could see the Rams choosing their quarterback of the future, or I could see them trading out of that spot if there's a team that wants to come up and get theirs.
Yeah, I don't see the Rams going quarterback in round 1. I could see them visiting quarterback at some point in the draft, but again, this is about value, and my sense is there'll be some teams there that think that they're better off waiting on a quarterback rather than opting for one, thus the lower expectation of quarterbacks picked in round 1 that we discussed in the previous segment.
And quickly, as we have a special guest waiting for us, you also said to me earlier this morning that if there are teams that want to move up to the back end of round 1, you think there will be no shortage of opportunity.
There are any number of teams right now that are willing to move back. So if the New York Giants or Cleveland Browns or New Orleans Saints want to come back up into the first round, they will be able to find a willing trade partner to go back in the draft.
Okay, let me leave it here for the moment. Obviously, a lot